It's Monday night and the party is about to get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Mindset to Millions. On tonight, I am coming in hot, y'all. I got a guest that's about to knock it out the park. Rick, we're about to have some fun. We want to say happy Memorial Day to all of our folks that have served the country for us and those who are still serving. We appreciate you. We value you. Our hats go off to you. So thank you for your service on this Memorial Day. And we want to say to those who are tuning in on tonight, thank you. You could be at the cookout. Maybe the cookout's over. Or you could be having some fellowship with family and friends. But the very fact that you decided to join in with us on tonight for Mindset to Millions, oh my God, I am so honored and appreciative. So without further ado, well, before I go here, I want to say this. Also, to our radio audience, I want to say this to you all. Thank you. Some of you all are driving in your car. Some of you are sitting on your couch, you're looking in, you're jumping in the chat, you're signing in and you're coming on board and you're getting in the chat. Thank you so much. No one has to join in, but the fact that you do, I appreciate you. Mega Source Entertainment, we love what we do over here. We have other radio personalities that are coming on all week long, sharing great information. Dr. Sherman, Coach Rich, we have some new folks coming on. Dr. Mercier, I think she's on season break right now, but we are honored to do what we do. But without further ado, I want to bring on someone who's just a jewel. She's a jewel to me. She's someone that I've worked with over the years. April Russell, what can I say about you, April? What can I say about you on tonight?
Dr. Tammie, hey. I am so excited to be here. Hello to our listening audience. I am excited about talking about Mindset to Millions. And what it's like to have a growth mindset. So I can't wait for us to dive further into the conversation. So what can you say about me? Well, some people call me the money lady, you know. So I'm definitely the money lady. I can help you, of course, when it comes to lending. But other than that, I just love what I do. I love my family. I'm truly abundantly blessed, have lived a blessed life thus far. Hasn't always been easy, of course, but I'm just grateful and thankful to be here.
Yes. And I want to add to that because she's so modest, y'all. I love her. I love her. She's so modest. But not only is she the money lady, and I speak in terms of she's been doing loan officer work for years. And that's how I initially met this queen, right? But she's driven and she teach and informs and empowers. I mean, how neat is that? How neat is it to connect with people who know who they are, to know whose they are, and then make a decision? They're going to empower others. They're going to teach others how to build generational wealth through home ownership. And that's how we met. April, how many years have it been now? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, gosh. 7, 8. It's been a while. It's been a good while.
Yes. It's been about 8 years. And, literally we met through the real estate world because, of course, you all know I own the Tammie Harris real estate firm in North Carolina. And she worked through the North Carolina base. And she'll tell you more. She works also in other states as well with the lending process. And she's been our preferred lender for years. And I'm just honored to have her on the platform. Some other things I want to share about April that she probably isn't going to share, because she's so modest and humble. But one of the things I loved about her and meeting her, realizing that she was one of the first African American women who actually hit President's Club at the banking institution, the mortgage company that she works for. And that was phenomenal. If anybody know anything, April, tell us a little bit about that. What does it mean to hit President's Club?
Right. So in order to make President's Club within a 12-month span, so from January to December, this was actually in 2021. So in the year of 2021, I actually closed over $25 million in mortgage loans. So that's the target in order to make the President's Club. But as Dr. Tammie mentioned, I was the first Black female for the company to actually make the President's Club. And I was just elated. I was excited. I will tell anyone I set out to do that. The moment when I realized that there had not been a Black female to make it, oh, I'm going to make it. That's that growth mindset that we talk about, Tammie. It's you got to set a goal and you got to know where it is you're trying to go and what tools and things that you need in order to get there. But I'm telling you, the moment I found out toward the end of 2020 that I had no idea that no Black female had made it, I let my manager know this is what I need and I will make the President's Club in 2021. And we absolutely did it. So wow. I was just elated and so excited about it. And someone's got to be the first, right? So why not me? Right? Why not?
And speaking
got to do it.
Yes, and speaking of 1st April, because we talk a lot about our lives, we're very transparent on this platform. And one of the things April know about me, and most of you all have figured out now, you know, in order to help others, you got to sometimes tell your story. You were the first African-American woman to make the President's Club for that institution. What about your mom? She was the first African-American woman for what?
So in the small town that I'm from in Eastern North Carolina, my mom was actually, this was back in the 70s, but she was the actual first African-American or Black employee that was hired to work at the local bank there in the small town. She was the first Black person to be hired to work there. And that's such an amazing thing. But I can also remember times of my mom telling me stories of how she was treated and how some people would come in, they wouldn't even want my mom to touch their money. Like, think about how dirty dollar bills are, and they wouldn't even want my mom to touch them. So to come from that and to know that she persevered and she overcame that and she stayed, she worked there for over 20 years. So to know that she could do that, it's almost like it's just been instilled in me to know there's always more to do. We can all grow together, you know, there's always more. So I'm appreciative for my mom because she instilled a lot of that in me, that tenacity, that to keep pushing forward and keep going no matter what.
I love that. I love that, you know, and you know, when I think about growth and I think about mindset and I think about home ownership, because we're going to talk about a lot of those things tonight, you know, April, even you know, like myself, you have purchased several homes, you know, you've been an investor, you know, a primary home owner as well, and you do many of things. But was there ever a time that maybe you didn't know how to do these things or knew what it looked like to have a growth mindset? Because we're getting ready to talk about a growth mindset in a minute and what it actually means. But how did you get here? I know your mom, but what else? What else helped you get here?
Right. So one of the things that I was taught to a certain degree, but perhaps not enough, I'll say, is really about finances. Now, mind you, my mom worked in a bank, but as far as home ownership was concerned, my parents divorced when I was 2 years old. They owned a home. They built a home together and they divorced when I was 2. So, and neither of them purchased another home. So they lost the home, sold it or whatever, and neither of them purchased another home. So I actually grew up, my mom was renting. I didn't really know home ownership. My grandmother was a homeowner and I had an aunt that was a homeowner. But when it came down to, you know, me deciding what I wanted to do as far as a career, I had been around banking. I grew up around banking. So I figured, hey, I'm going to start there. And I did because I love math. I love numbers. You know, I initially went to college for accounting. Then I switched my major to business management. Because all that accounting stuff, I was like, oh gosh, forget that. But look at how it comes full circle. What am I doing today? Reviewing tax returns, right? For people
Wow.
who want to buy houses. So it all came back full circle. But ultimately, starting, in the banking industry and just seeing, if I'm going to be in sales, right? Because they say I'm in sales, right? Just like real estate is sales. And I don't particularly like that word, but if I'm going to be in it, I want to have something people actually need. I don't want to be out here trying to sell paper clips, or something that I got to convince you why you need it, right? Even though, and I know there's some convincing when it comes to purchasing a home, but at the end of the day, everyone needs a roof over their head. So my goal, with what I do is it was a matter of finding something that I could provide to people, but that was also going to be beneficial because I want to help people grow. I want them to build. I want to build people. So, and families, and like you said, generational wealth. That's what real estate is all about. And a lot of times we don't want to share our personal stories, but real estate changed my life. And because it changed my life, it's a lot easier for me to talk to someone else about why they need to purchase a home because I can tell my own story. Because it literally changed my life. Like getting out of debt. I mean, just there are so many things that real estate can do for you. I'm telling you, it is absolutely phenomenal. The doors that could be open just from owning real estate. And it's all about making that first purchase. If we can get you to that first purchase, we can get you to the next one. Even beyond that, it could be you keep the house and buy another one. It could be you sell that house and take that lump sum of equity and money that you built up and put it into the next one, or you're going to pay off all of your debt. Like there are so many things you can do. You can send your kids to college. Like it's an amazing thing. It really is. So in doing that, or I guess how I got here, it was almost like a no-brainer for me when it came to if I was what part of finance I would be in. I need something that is easy for me to talk about. That is, that I don't feel like I have to push on someone. I don't have to push a home over someone. We all, like I said, we all need a roof over our heads.
I love it. I love it. And, I know you all hear the excitement in her voice, the passion, around what she do. And I think that's valuable and that's important. And so when we're talking about a growth mindset tonight, we're talking about a progression. We're talking about moving from point A to point B to point C. Now, what April didn't tell you that I'm sure you realize, this didn't happen overnight. This has been a journey. And just like April, we're both from Eastern North Carolina. She's from Snow Hill and I'm from Pitt County. So we were neighbors and might even be cousins, But the fact is, growing up, what we didn't see did not mean that we could not have it or we could not aspire for it. So I want to say on tonight, those of you who all are listening in, I want you to think growth. What does it mean to have a growth and a homeowner's mindset? This is big because the more you're willing to grow, the more opportunity you're going to leave a lasting impact in the earth. April, let me ask you this, April. You talk a lot in your coaching program. Tell us a little bit about your coaching program and how that ties into a growth mindset. First of all, tell us what your company is and what you do.
Right. So I am the CEO and founder of Agent Growth Lab. So you can actually go to agentgrowthlab.co to check out the website. But there you have, of course, access to my book, which is called The Growth Playbook, a real estate agent's daily success plan. But also I offer success workshops and trainings to real estate offices. And with that growth mindset, or how it all ties in, again, I enjoy and I love pouring into people. And a lot of times, like Tammie was saying, it's a process. It's a journey. So even for me on the lending side of things, I love to take someone who maybe thought they couldn't do it, or maybe their credit wasn't where it needed to be, and actually walk them through those steps to actually get them to their keys. And of course, on the other side of that, when it comes to actual real estate agents, it's just a matter of, hey, we need to talk about time management. We need to talk about what you're doing in your day. How are you networking? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you on social media? How can people find you? Just really pouring into real estate agents to let them know, yes, the beauty of the business is that you can run it how you want to. However, there needs to be some balance with that as well. And a lot of times, and especially for some real estate agents, they can go from they had that 9 to 5 that they had to clock in for, and now, oh, I'm doing real estate, and you're just a free spirit. Well, yes and no, because we still need to manage our time, because we can think we're busy all day and we haven't done anything, but we can, feel like we're busy. So that's kind of what goes along with Agent Growth Lab. Really, it's just showing you how to prepare for success, how you can set your day for success, because it's one step at a time. It's one day at a time. It's all about building good habits and setting proper goals for yourself to, for you to obtain. So that's really what the Agent Growth Lab is all about. There's more about that, of course, in my book. I love that there are real estate offices using my book for book clubs right now. It's a great tool. And again, it's my baby. I put it out there because I want to provide something of value to the people that I work with in order to help them grow. Again, it's all about growth, and there's plenty to go around for everybody. There is. We can all win and come up together, right? You don't have to be afraid to share what worked for you, how you obtain success. That's what it's for. You're blessed to bless somebody else. It's not just for you. And that's a part of that growth mindset as well, because that growth mindset, what you pour out, you're going to get back.
That is so good, so good. I think the fact that you said it's enough for all of us, I think that alone is a growth mindset. The opposite of a growth mindset is a scarcity mindset. For me, mine, and no more. Oh my God, I'm scared somebody's gonna move my cheese. This belongs to me. But having a growth mindset, you understand that there is room at the table for everyone. So this is good. And thinking about continuous learning and adapting, what are some things that play into continuing to create a growth mindset? What are some things that you would recommend that people do, whether it's towards home ownership, a better marriage, a better relationship with your children? I know you have children, you have adult children, you have one son who's like a phenomenon. He's a superstar in sports. So in thinking about growth mindset, what are some of the things that we can do to continue to have that?
Right. I think it's so important when we talk about a growth mindset is to really, it's a daily thing. Like I said, what daily habits could you do? So the beginning of your day, that needs to be meditation, prayer, something, but you got to start it with gratitude. You got to start it on a positive note. You got to have to start your day with a heart of thankfulness and being grateful. Right? I think that initially starts there, because that's going to set the tone for your day. Regardless of what pops up or comes up, you have something that you could be grateful for and thankful for. So I think it starts there. With seeking knowledge, always be a student. I talk about that in my book. There is no point in time that you're going to know everything there is to know. Be it about your marriage, be it about how to be a good parent. Like, we do the best we can, right? But at no point in time will we know everything. So it's okay to seek knowledge. It is okay, even in business, find and connect with the people who are where you're trying to go. Those are the people you need to talk to. So even when we talk about home ownership, talk to people who bought homes before. Learn about their experience. No, it doesn't look the same for everyone, but maybe if you want to own a home one day, you don't necessarily need to go talk to someone who's been renting all of their life.
Boom.
They may
That's
not.
It.
Again, experience is a good teacher. It is. So you need to be talking to people who have experienced what it is that you're trying to do. That's where the information is. And don't be modest about it. Like Dr. Tammie, you were just talking about that scarcity mindset. Don't have that scarcity mindset. And trust me, if you go to one and they don't want to share, go to another one. There's more than one. There's more than enough for you to get the information that you need. And don't be afraid to read a book sometime too. A lot of information in writing if we would just read it. It really is.
That is so powerful. And if you think about it, in order to have a growth mindset, you got to talk to people who are growing. And I like what you said. If you're looking at purchasing or buying a home, why would you talk to someone or get the data boys from someone who never have bought a house or who don't even understand the value of home ownership? So our circle is going to be important when it comes to growth. If you're with the right circle of people, you're going to grow. But if you're with the wrong circle of people, you may not grow. So that plays an important part. One of the things I love about you, April, and it reminds me so much of myself, not that we don't experience life, not that life don't be life, and not that things don't happen. But what I notice about you is you're always optimistic. You're always encouraging. You're always, seeing the glass half full versus half empty. How did you become that? Or have you always been that one?
I will say I've been that way. You can go back to when I was in middle school and high school, and it's a blessing. And you know what? I'm not going to call it a curse. It's a blessing. However, the flip side of that is sometimes I've been told that I'm just naive, right? Because I'm looking for the good in everybody and everything. But I also need to understand there's a real adversary out here. He's real. Okay. So I need to understand that as well. But just having this mindset of hope, I won't lose hope. It's hope for better, right? I guess when I try to think about where that actually came from, it's just a matter of how I grew up, small town, single mom. I mean, I watched my mom work 2-3 jobs, just to provide for my brother and I. So I just always had a hope that it would be better. That there was more, and I knew there was more, and even getting that exposure and being able to see it, but then not really knowing how I could grab hold of it, right? Because I see it, but I don't really know exactly how to grab it. But then again, seeking the information, seeking out the knowledge so that I could figure out how to actually grab it. But yeah, I always try to have a optimistic, approach to things, just because there are so many worse things happening in the world right now. That some of these things that we're dealing with are what I call first world problems. You don't have a problem. Okay.
Wow.
They messed up your order at the Starbucks. Woo woo. That is not a problem. Okay. Now, I didn't say you had to like it. Okay. I didn't say, you just got to accept everything that comes to you. However, you got to understand that there are worse things happening in the world, and you got to pick your battles. You got to try to maintain your peace. Right. And if it's going to cost you your peace, it costs too much. Right. It's just too much. If it's going to cost you your peace. So I think that plays a big role in it. And like I said, I always have hope. My husband says that all the time about me. He's like, you just full of hope. You just got hope for everything. And I don't know any other way to be. I don't, because where I'm at today, I know it'll get better. I know that what I'm going through today is temporary. I know it is. Right? And we don't make permanent decisions on temporary situations. That's not what we do. And that's why, that renewing our minds and things like that. So when things do pop up during the day, because like you said, life be life. And when you have kids, especially grown or not, life be lifing. You got to stay rooted and grounded, okay?
And see, all of this to me is part of the growth mindset. It's how you see a thing. It's your perception. It's what you're deciding is going to be for you, because easily in your story, how you grew up, you could have made a decision, and so could have I. I could have made a decision, woe is me, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, or that did happen. But it's how you see a thing. So in growth, you've made a decision to visualize. You kept saying, oh, it has to get better. I know it's going to get better. How could it not get better? Whereas the very same person, and you who may be struggling out there, who may be listening to us and saying, I'm more of a pessimistic person, or I'm more of a realist. Sometimes I have people to say, I'm just a realist. I'm just a realist. They won't say they're pessimistic. But if you're a realist and you're looking at everything in real time, then pessimism will overtake you, right? But what I'm hearing you talk about, April, is really faith. Faith is the substance of those things that are hoped for, the evidence of those things that are not seen. You're believing it's going to get better. That's how things grow. When we put a seed in the ground, we're not watching the seed all day and all night, but we're believing it's growing if we're watering it. Okay, if we're giving it sunlight, if we're talking to the plant. So I think growth mindset is going to be so key when you think about mindset to millions. How can you even have a life of millions? And we're not just talking about monetary, we're talking about your peace. We're talking about your health. If you get a bad diagnosis and you believe it's over and you're doomed from there, you're not going to get well. So it all ties in together. Now, April, we know you made the President's Club as the first African American woman for that organization to be able to do that. And you are still kicking butt. You are still rocking it out. You're working with homeowners day in and day out, just like we are at the Tammie Harris Real Estate Firm. My question to you is, I want us to think about this because I know like some of my thoughts on this question I'm about to ask you. What is it you think when people come to you and say, well, I would like to buy a house, but I pay $2,200 in rent, or I pay $1,800 in rent, or I pay $1,500 in rent, or I pay $2,600 in rent. But I want to buy a house. I know the interest rates are high right now, but I want to keep my mortgage under $1,300. I want to keep my mortgage under $1,400. Now you're paying $2,200 for rent, or you're paying $1,800 for rent, or you're paying $1,700 for rent. But because I don't want to be house poor. Like the mindset don't even comprehend that you're going to write some things off. You're going to build equity, all these things that come along with home ownership, the pluses. But you're telling me right up front, I need to buy a $200,000 house because I need my payments to be at this amount. And you're spending all this money in rent. What's going on? What's happening in the mindset there?
Right. So one of the first things I would say to someone who approaches me with that is, listen, you already paying the mortgage. It's not yours, but you're already paying one. And a lot of times it comes down to our budget. And we have, again, and it also goes back to that scarcity mindset, because we have been programmed that if I'm renting, and of course, if something breaks or goes wrong, I'm going to just call the landlord and they're going to fix it. Well, if I own the house, now it's on me. That is true. However, there's this beautiful thing called a home warranty. Okay. And I'm sure all the agents at the Tammie Harris Real Estate Firm will tell you all about that home warranty. Okay. But I think a lot of times it's that scarcity mindset of, oh gosh, the HVAC unit, if it goes out, or whatever that might be. And I think we're trying to compensate for that, which is why we're like, okay, I paid $2,200, but let's not go over $1,500. Well, you're already paying it anyway. So if you feel like what you're paying right now is a stretch for you and you need it to be a little bit less, my words to you are, let's look at your budget. Because I can look at somebody's bank statement. My magic number is $200. And that's for my own bank statement too. But I could go through someone's bank statement and immediately find at least $200 that they could be saving. And you know how I could find it? Eat now. Mm-hmm. That's exactly where it is, from eating out all the time. At minimum, I can find $200. But like you said, it's that scarcity mindset of, being afraid to take the leap. And I think it's important for us when we talk about education, home buyer education, that we properly explain what that home warranty is and what it can do. Like my garbage disposal just went out. This is true story. Garbage disposal went out. I don't know anything about garbage disposals, but I got a home warranty. And I called, they showed up. Oh, we're going to get you a brand new one. Came in, installed a new one. That's it. Moving on. All I did was call an 800 number. That's it, right? But when we don't know that, and you don't know what you don't know, right? So again, most people may not even know that there is a home warranty out there. That if you have a plumbing issue or electrical or whatever it may be. So really it's just making sure that I'm educating them about how important home ownership actually is. But again, when it comes to that money part as well, we got to talk about that budget, because I'm telling you, what most people think they cannot do, they actually can. And the thing is, we make time for what we want to make time for, and we'll set our money aside for things we want to set it aside for as well. So if you can set aside your money for a vacation, you can set aside some money to help put a down payment as well. Because you're planning trips, right? We got to plan this thing. This is not an overnight thing. You got to plan for it. Just like you plan for a trip. Some people make installment payments on their trip before they take the trip. If you can do that, put some money away and save. Because you have the ability to do it. We just got to make sure we're doing it for the right things. We can maybe forego that vacation this year so we can actually purchase a home and build some equity. And maybe our equity can take care of the next vacation.
Ooh, I love that. This is talking about a growth mindset on tonight. Yes, mindset to millions. Yes, growth mindset and a homeowner's mindset. One of the things I can personally say in my life, I've had a lot of homes that I've purchased, sold, leased out, Airbnb, you name it, I've done it. And one thing I know for sure, there hasn't been another tool that has brought me wealth like home ownership has. And so I want to say to all my people out there who are on the fence and saying, well, the interest rates are way too high. I can't do it because the interest rates are this and the interest rates are that. One of the things I want to remind you, if you are renting, you are paying 100% in an interest rate. And like April said, you're just paying somebody else's mortgage. You're not paying your own. So please, please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind. So April, I know I'm throwing a lot of questions at you right now, only because I know you can answer them, right? April had no idea what I was going to ask her, but she came ready. She was like, let's go, let's get it. So I love this about you. When you think about a growth mindset, and you think about mindset to millions, and you think about a homeowner's mindset, if you had to tell that person out there that just says, maybe it wasn't in the cards for me. I have a good job, but I love to travel. I love to eat out. I love Louis and Tom Ford and Gucci and Fendi and all those wonderful brands that we like to wear. And I like, getting my hair done every week and so forth. And they go on and on about all the reasons why they cannot purchase a home. Why, even if you go in detail and explain to them about wealth building opportunities through home ownership, you mention it, you can use your home ownership equity to send your kid to school, to pay a car for cash or whatever you want to do. But to that person that is not convinced and do not have a growth mindset, what can we say to them on tonight that will maybe turn the ship just a little bit? Maybe it won't turn it all the way real quick, but it will get them to start thinking, maybe I can, maybe I will.
I think it's really about seeing where you are today as temporary. And seeing that, even if I tried this before, or even if I've been telling myself that I can't do it, maybe I need to try again. Like, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose by just trying again? What do you have to lose by reaching out to get the information to get started? You don't have anything to lose. And if anything, you have all the more to gain because you're actually going to gain information and knowledge. Now, what you do with it, of course, is up to you. But our job, of course, is to give you and provide you with the tools and the information, but at least seek out the information. Don't and get outside of your own head. I will say that because our mouths are powerful. Okay. Our mouths are very powerful and you're going to have what you say. And if you continue to say that you can't do it and maybe it's not in the cards for you, you are absolutely right, baby. You will not, and it's not in the cards for you. But that's one of the first things that we need to do. We need to watch how we talk to ourselves because our mouths are powerful. And that's one of the first things I would tell somebody. You need to change it, turn it around, and try again. Because you have nothing to lose by just seeking out the information. And watch, we need to watch how we talk to ourselves. We really, like that is don't get me going, because I'll go off on a tangent about how powerful your mouth is. Because it is. And again, you're going to have what you say. And you need to speak good things to yourself. I am an overcomer. I can achieve great things. My children will do great things in the earth. Like you need to be speaking those things. You have to call those things down. Call them out. Call them forth.
Yes.
Bring it in.
That's it. We're going to stay right there. We're going to stay right there because I'm sensing something that is happening even right now. To have a growth mindset, a lot of it ties in with who do we even believe that we are? And what is the language that we're sharing with ourselves? You're on something. You're on something good. I want you to go deeper. April, I know you're probably the type of person to have even affirmations for yourself, right?
Absolutely. I'm an overcomer. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I can do all things through yes, you got to have affirmations. That's how I start my day. You got to affirm yourself. You got to believe in you and believe in yourself. And it does no good for somebody else to believe it if you don't believe it for yourself.
Calm now.
Right? Because it's according to your faith.
Woo.
I can have all the faith in the world I can for you, but it's really going to come down to according to yours. So I can tell it to you all day, but if you don't believe it, and if you don't receive that and bring it in bring it in for yourself, there's not much more that I can do. But affirmations are so important. Again, because the tongue is so powerful. Don't you start your day speaking negativity to yourself. And I'm telling you, even if the situation is bad, and trust me, been there, done that, in one now, hello. But what I know for sure, trouble don't last always. It does not. It can change. It will turn. But I will prolong my journey and the process I have to go through. I will prolong the test that I'm having right now if I don't start speaking the right things. It's going to take me longer to come out of it if I'm speaking negative to myself.
That is so
I got to remain positive. I got to speak those positive, hopeful things. Because otherwise, I'm gonna be in the test longer than I should have even been in it. Because it's not about what happened to you. Because trust me, life be lifing for everybody. We all got a story, could share stories, one trump the other, all the stories in the world. But it's not about what happens to you. It's how you respond to it.
Girl,
that's the key.
You better come on here.
It's how you respond to it. What do you say?
Yes.
When things begin to happen for you. And I'm not saying you're not going to cry. I'm not saying you won't have moments that you're actually angry. You're upset. Trust me, it happens. But it's reel that in, right? What they say, weeping endures for a night.
But joy comes in the morning.
Absolutely. We got to have a time limit on that pity party. Because in its emotions, you're going to feel it. You're human. You're going to feel those emotions. But you got to put a time limit on that. listen, we got a few minutes with this, and then we got to regroup. We got to come back around because we're going to stay in this longer than we were intended to if we keep, complaining. And anyway, don't get me started because I was about to start talking about it. The Israelites. Just go ahead, because when they were coming out, and they could have been out, and it took them too long because they want to keep circling the block and complaining and everything else. And the Lord didn't even intend for them to be in that wilderness that long. But anyway.
And you know what?
Respond properly.
Respond properly. And you know what? This is good. I think this is great dialogue because one thing I do know, life happens to everybody. Okay. Nobody is exempt from struggle, challenges, circumstances, or situations. But if you're going to have a growth mindset, all you got to do is think about where you already came from. You're still here. Ty Tribbett says it's best only for one night, though. Cry, weep, if you want to, but only for one night, though. Meaning there ought to be a season in your life anyway where you're grieving. Like there are certain seasons where even in Ecclesiastes, the great book of Ecclesiastes talks about there's a time and there's a season for all things. Now, if I just lost someone that I love, I'm not going to be sitting here laughing. Okay. I'm going to be mourning. I'm going to be crying. But if I just graduated from a wonderful program, I'm not going to be crying unless it's tears of joy, but I'm going to be laughing. I'm going to be excited. You got to know that it's okay to feel what you need to feel in the transitions of life. But what you can't do, April, is what I'm hearing you say. We cannot get stuck in the rut of the stuff that we're walking through. And now we're saying these horrible things about our future. My grandmama used to say, you're putting your mouth on yourself. Like you don't want to put your mouth in a negative way on yourself. And so one of the things, and I want to say this, and I want you all to hear this, one of the things that I've done as a ritual for myself, when I'm in transitions, and I'm in a major one right now, when I'm in massive transitions, I write down what I feel about the transition. I'm disappointed. I'm sad. I'm hurt. Why did this have to happen to me? On the opposite side of the page, I say, joy comes in the morning. I am being restored. God is my peace. God is my strength. Now you see the contrast. So my affirmations for that season becomes the positive things on against the negative things that I'm even experiencing. So we're not saying don't feel what you feel. We're not saying there's not going to be seasons where you're not going to feel defeated. We're just saying don't speak defeat over your life because, as my good friend April said, you will have what you say. Girl, that was powerful. That was good. And I know people are being blessed just by that. So we're going to keep this thing going. So April, I got to ask you this. What advice would you give homeowners who are looking to adopt a growth mindset to purchase future opportunities? Like I know you and myself, we have purchased residential properties and then investment properties, and my next goal is to have a beachfront home and different things like that. How do you go from one mindset to growth mindset, and you have some of these things in play, but now you want to take it to another level? But you never seen it done before around you. Maybe mom or dad or cousin or brother had their primary residence and you have that. But now you want a home in Africa, right? Like me. You want a home in Africa. How do we expand our mindset to keep going further and further and further?
Yeah. Again, I think it's all about just knowing that there's more. Right? There's more out there. And if you have that desire, that didn't just come out of thin air, right? That's a desire that you have. It didn't just, pop up all of a sudden. It's a desire that you have. So one, have the conversation. Like they call me the money lady. It's almost like Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. I'm going to show you the money. Literally, I'm going to show you. Okay, approximate value of your current home based off of what you owe. This is the amount of equity that you have. Do you want an equity line of credit? to put down, use that to put down on the next home that you want to buy? Do you want to sell this house? And then there are so many ways to approach it, but I think it all starts with that conversation. But trust me, that's a desire. That's a desire that you have. You need to go ahead and talk with someone about that. And it's not, again, it's not just about the money. But I say that in a joking way, show me the money. But that's literally what that looks like. That's what that conversation is like with me. We're going to talk numbers, and I'm going to show you and explain to you and be very transparent with you about exactly where you are and what you can do. Because like you said, there's so many things that real estate can do for you. And it has provided such a freedom for me. Listen, real estate changed my life. I am not just saying that just to say it. I am telling you that it changed my life. Real estate changed my son's life in college. Okay. He just graduated 3 weeks ago. Real estate changed both of our lives. My son is debt free today. Because of real estate.
Look at that. Look at that.
I love this. It's life changing. I'm telling you, it's life changing. And here I am over here, 44 years old. I still have student loans, but I didn't want my children to have them.
So powerful, so powerful. You know, and generational wealth is built through real estate. You know, I can personally attest to that. I look at our 3 sons and how God has blessed them to own real estate at such young ages. I remember Jalen, our now 20, getting ready to be 23-year-old, 22-year-old, bought his first home at 19. You know, and the equity that has been built over the past 3 years, and, you know, leasing it out, Airbnb-ing it out. And, you know, it's just like, where did they go and do that at? Like, what are the opportunities? And not because he had a really big job at 19. Can you really have a really big job? No, he was working at a grocery store, bagging groceries and working as a cashier, stocking groceries, and bought a home, bought a $200,000 townhome that is worth now much, 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 much more in the Wake County area. So the generational wealth opportunities that are built through home ownership, it's just magnificent. So April, in our last 10 minutes, I want you to talk a little bit. It's some people out there saying, okay, you talked about a growth mindset. You told us how to expand our mindset to keep moving forward, to believe those things that are not as though they were. You know, the book of Habakkuk, write the vision down, make it plain. That's one of the reasons how and why you grow and how you grow. You have a vision. And April, you said something so good earlier. You said if it's a desire in your heart, you know, it's worth happening. To me, God put desires in your heart. So we talked about a little bit about that, you know, having a vision, speaking life, decreeing and declaring, you know, understanding that, you know, you may not be paying for a mortgage, but you're paying mortgage. You're paying somebody else's mortgage. We talked about the value and the importance of leaving a generational wealth, you know, home building, how that works. I want you to take the last, you know, 8-9 minutes and talk about if a person came and say, Tammie Harris Real Estate Firm. We have about 24 agents, I believe. We serve North Carolina, and we can connect you with other agents in other states as well. We want to buy a house. What does the next step look like if we say, talk to April Russell? What do you tell them? Where do they go from there?
Sure. So first, we are going to have a consultation. So you can go to homewithapril.com and schedule a consultation. But during that consultation, we're going to have a conversation. And a lot of times people are nervous to talk to me because people are nervous, of course, to talk about their finances. But I think I'm thankful that I have this ability to do is really, truly make people feel comfortable. Because again, I've done it. I can share a part of my own story, but that also makes people feel more comfortable in sharing with me as well. So when we have that conversation, we're going to be talking about your income. Like, how do you earn your income? Is it a full-time job? Is it part-time? Are you self-employed? Are you on a 1099? Do you absolutely work 40 hours a week? every single week, or is it, is it variable, what they call variable? Are you paid a salary? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about debts that you have, a car payment, student loans. Do you owe the IRS? I'm going to ask you. Okay. You got to be transparent and let me know. Are you obligated to pay child support or alimony to anyone? I need to know that so that I can determine or calculate how much home is actually affordable for you. But also during that conversation, we're going to talk about your credit. And it's not so much that I'm going to pull your credit. I'm going to ask you what you know about it. Because one thing I will say is a pet peeve that I have. When I talk with the home buyer and when I do eventually pull their credit, I should not be telling you more about you than what you know about you. Right? I should not. So that's why one of my initial questions is tell me what you know about it. Because, hey, if your score is 550, tell me what you know about having that 550. How do you think you got there? Okay, let's talk about those late payments, or whatever that might have been. Okay, your score is 750. Tell me more about it. Oh, well, I only have this debt and this debt. I pay everything on time. Haven't been late in 20 years. That's beautiful. But again, I want to talk to you. I want you to open up so that we can have a dialogue with each other. So we'll talk about income. We'll talk about debt. We're going to talk about your credit. And ultimately, by the end of that conversation, I'm going to tell you one of two things, really. Well, actually, I'm saying the same thing, but I say it in a different way, right? But I'm not pushy. But ultimately, if you want to buy a house, you need to get pre-approved. And there's a difference between being pre-qualified and being pre-approved. Because I just pre-qualified you during that conversation we had. Because you can tell me about your income and your debt, whip, bam, boom, here's how much house you can afford. I just pre-qualified you. You need to get pre-approved, meaning you actually complete a mortgage application that allows me to actually review your credit and that you actually provide documentation. April, I make $75,000 a year, and here are my pay stubs to show you. April, I have $20,000 in my savings account, and here's my bank statement to show you. So the pre-approval is all about the documents, right? So you want to have, and you need to have that pre-approval in hand, because once you connect with Tammie or anyone else with the firm, if we're going out to look at homes, they need to know what they're looking for. Right? And don't make me the dream killer, because you did it backwards. And you went and looked at the house. You done placed your kids' furniture. This is Junebug's room over here. This is Sophie's room over here. Like, you placed everything how you want it to be. And then you come to me and I have to say, oh, well, that house is $400,000. It looks like you're pre-approved for $300,000. Now I'm the dream killer. And I don't want to be the dream killer. So let's start with me first, and be thinking about too, especially if you're thinking about homeownership, be thinking about what monthly payment makes you comfortable. And like we were saying earlier, don't tell me your rent right now, you're paying $2,200, but you don't want a mortgage over $15,000. No, ma'am, that's not going to work. No, ma'am, no, sir, that's not going to work. So don't say that to me. But be thinking about, what payment makes you comfortable. But that's pretty much how that beginning phase starts, from you having that desire and wanting to own a home. It's have that consultation, have that conversation with me, and let's just really talk about where you are. And if anything, I've never told somebody no before. I may not give you yes today, but I'm going to get you to a yes. I just may not be able to give it to you today, but I'm going to tell you step by step what you need to do to actually get there. And like I said earlier, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
You have nothing to lose by having that conversation.
That's it. You got to start somewhere. And if you're nervous out there and you're not sure, April is a great resource. And April, what states do you actually help families as it relates to mortgages?
So I am licensed in North Carolina and Georgia.
Okay. So if you're in the Georgia area, or you may have a question and you're in California, April have resources of people that she knows throughout the country. So feel free to reach out to her. April, give us your contact information again.
Okay, so you can go to my website, homewithapril.com. You can always shoot me a text or call 919-268-1878. But ultimately, that website, homewithapril.com, you can apply or even schedule your consultation through the site.
How easy is that? How easy is that? And of course, if you're looking for a real estate agent and you want a real estate agent, you want to be able to have someone to walk you through the process. We have served 2,000 plus families in getting them from start to finish. After April gets you approved, you reach out to the Tammie Harris Real Estate Firm. If you're not in North Carolina, you're in another state, we can connect you with other realtors that we collaborate with. Go to our website, TammieHgroup.com. Tammie, Tammie, the letter H, group.com. And you'll see all of our agents. You can reach out directly or you can reach out to me directly, 919-418-1376. You can shoot me a text message or give me a phone call. We work with families across this country because we believe home ownership along with a growth mindset is valuable. We believe that it is important. And so we are here to serve. April, in our last few minutes, any closing thoughts? I know we talked about a lot of things. I know I asked you a lot of questions. You are full of resources. Your spirit is contagious. Your excitement is on fire. And I love that. April and I, we've had a chance to speak on stages together. And I love that about her, how she's adaptable in whatever setting she's in. But any final words you want to leave with our guest tonight?
Absolutely. So the whole purpose of you all listening to our listening audience is having that growth mindset. And if you don't leave with anything else this evening, I want you to know that that desire that you have, it is very well possible for you. Speak well of yourself. Speak good things to yourself. Speak positive to yourself and reach out and seek the information that you don't have. Have that conversation. You have nothing to lose and so much to gain just from having the conversation. And it might be that you leave the conversation still thinking, well, maybe that's not for me right now. That's perfectly fine. But I can guarantee you this one thing, you will leave that conversation knowing more than what you knew before you called. I can guarantee that. And that's what having a growth mindset is about. It's all about not being afraid to seek knowledge. Don't have that scarcity mindset and reach out.
Well, you heard it from the best. You heard it from our April Russell, someone that we respect and admire, and we work collaboratively together. One of the things I want to say to the audience on tonight, stop being afraid. Stop thinking it could happen for others, but can it really happen for me? I know you've been through a lot in life, but guess what? I always said, you live to tell the story. Doesn't matter if you grew up in a single family home, just like April shared with you, single mom. Doesn't matter if you grew up like I did, the daughter of a sharecropper. It doesn't matter if you lived in a trailer park or the projects, or even if you were homeless. There are so many people with so many wonderful stories and how they got to their next. And so on tonight, we want you to know it's possible to have a growth mindset. It's possible to create affirmations. April shared a few affirmations that she speak over her life. I am a conqueror. I can do all things through Christ who give me the strength. You may say, well, I'm not a believer. I'm not a Christian. Well, I'm sure you got some power that you believe that can give you some strength. Okay. It may be meditation. I don't know. I don't know what your story is, but I want to tell you at Mindset to Millions, we believe that you belong at the table. And if for any reason whatsoever, if they don't allow you at the table of home ownership, of a growth mindset, of a healthy relationship with your children, healthy relationships with family members, with your spouse, it is you who get to create that table for yourself. It starts with you and it will end with you. The last thing I want to say as we close out, and I want April to add to this. I always say this, and I get challenged by this sometimes. What people think about you is none of your business. So you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be fearful. What are they going to say about me? Oh my God, if I do this, how are they going to feel about me? April, you know I say this. What people think about you or me is none of our business. April, what do you say about that?
Listen, I can't tell you enough how peaceful it is to not be so worried about what people think. And that's coming from someone, I was a people pleaser. Used to be, tried to be, did the best I could, and was always concerned about what people were going to think. And I'm telling you, there is a freedom like no other and a peace like no other the moment that you let go of that, of what other people are going to think. And just remember, everyone's not going to celebrate with you, and that's okay. We throw our own party. I have my own party by myself, right? Or I'm gonna call Dr. Tammie because she'll, But that's why your circle matters too. You better get around some people that'll cheer for you and pray for you when you need it.
I love it.
That is what you need. But absolutely, don't worry about what people will think. It doesn't. There's only one you of the billions of people on this earth. There's only one you.
That's it. Well, you heard it from April. You heard it from April. Just be you. There's only one you. This fingerprint belongs to you. We're at 9:00. We got to call it a wrap. Thank you so much, April Russell, for joining us tonight with Mindset to Millions, a growth and a homeowner mindset. Join us, my audience. Come back next Monday for the next special guest that's going to help empower you to get to your new next now. God bless you. Make it a great night. Happy Memorial Day. I want to say Happy Memorial Day again. God bless. Bye now.